Welcome back to the Two Pointers Podcast. I'm Trevor, and I've got two guys here from On the Clock, my boys Julian and Caleb. We did a little promotion or cross promotion with them, collab the other day. We did NBA tier list, contenders, pretenders. Here we're doing something cool format like that, but a little bit weirder. I did not think that we were ready for storylines in 2 days. Well, technically, it is 2 days, but basically no games have been played except for yesterday. But we are here to do what's called an NBA skins draft. I'll introduce them first, and then I'll talk about what the game is and what it means. And then at the very end, I'll get their MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all the award picks, since I haven't had a chance to have them on just yet. So thank you for the support on the last episode, Solo. I appreciate all the time and support you guys have put into just supporting me in the channel. So if you have any chance to, please subscribe, like all the stuff right there below. All right, really quick. Julian, introduce yourself, what you're doing in the basketball space, and then Caleb, right after that, go after him.
How's it going, y'all? I'm Julian. I am one of the two hosts on the Clock, upcoming podcast on college basketball season soon. I'm big into the draft scouting, big writer. So if you check out ontheclockbb.com, you'll see a lot of my written content on there. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I'm Caleb. I am pretty much focused right now on venturing into the college basketball space and scouting, for the NBA draft. We have, like Julian mentioned, we host a podcast together, and then we also have some more upcoming stuff that we're working on with Trevor, as well as just in general on theclockbb.com.
The only two Suns and Sixers fans that I know, Julian being a Sixers guy and Caleb being a Suns guy. So that was how Caleb and I met, was Devin Booker. So looking forward to talking about this today. So NBA skins draft, for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, that's completely okay, because until 12 hours ago, I didn't know what this was either. I thought this was a really cool idea. So skins is something in golf that if you don't know what it is, please look it up. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be able to explain it to you easily. So it's a golf game originally, but with the NBA, your teams have wins and losses, obviously. And what we're trying to do is trying to build a point system with the most wins or the most losses, most total points. So an example, the Brooklyn Nets could go 60-22. Well, one of us can decide to take their losses, and one of us can decide to take their wins. Those individual wins and losses are worth a point. So obviously, don't take a team you think is going to only lose 22 games, and vice versa. So, for example, if Julian picks the Brooklyn Nets wins, he thinks they're going to go 60-22. Which, by the way, you don't have to say the record. Just that could be part of your strategy. I'm probably not going to want to take their losses unless I think they're going to be a 35 win difference or loss difference. So super easy. Probably a little bit easier for the audio audience, maybe, but just understanding our thought process around some stuff. But it'd be fun either way. I'm looking forward to it. We determined before the draft by playing Pirtle, which now thinking about it, I wish we had done that live. I think that would have been cooler. But Pirtle's obviously still an awesome game. Yeah, no, some of us didn't do so well. Me neither. I got it in 4. It was Kate Cunningham as you're listening to this the next day. But here we are. Julian decided to take the second overall pick. I decided to go with the third overall pick. It's a snake draft, so obviously getting that in the turn. And then Caleb, unfortunately did not have a choice, got number 1, but that means he'll have a pick at the next turn of the second round. So 10 total picks between us all, 30 teams. I'm excited to do this, so it'll be a lot of fun. So without further ado, Caleb, first overall pick in the inaugural, I guess you could say, Two Pointers Podcast NBA skins draft. I 100% am doing this annually now. This is so cool.
I'm going to start it off by picking, my favorite team. I think that as a good fan, you got to root for your team to win. And I think that, coming off a season where my Phoenix Suns won 60-plus games, even if we take a step back, like we talked about in our tier list contenders and pretenders video, I still am going to take them for wins. I want them to do well. I will root for this team. I think they'll win around 50 games. I don't think it's like strictly a fan pick. I still believe in this team for the most part, especially in the regular season. I think that they have 2 players on any given night with Paul and Booker that can put up monster stat lines and impact winning in a huge way. So,
all right, Julian, you have the second overall pick. That is not where I thought this would go immediately.
Yes,
So
I think there's a slam dunk pick that should have gone number 1, but Caleb let his fandom get in the way. I'm going to take Spurs losses.
There it is. There it
be
is.
happy and ride all the way home with my extra 15 points because there is no way that the Spurs win 20 games this year. No way. Not a chance.
So you're assuming you're getting 62 points immediately.
I'm going to take my 60-ish points off the bat. No questions asked. They got killed last night by a mediocre Hornets team. I'm happy. I thought for sure that pick was going to be gone and I was going to have my work cut out for me here. But thank you, Caleb, for being a good fan.
Man, this feels like a Greg Oden Kevin Durant scenario. Hopefully not. Or maybe this is the 83 draft and I'm the one walking away with Michael Jordan. You never know. I'm not going to let this influence my decision because, unfortunately, we are doing this 2 days after the season started. So we've got a very small sample size. Obviously, some of these teams have won
already, Julian. So
yeah, technically, yeah.
You're right.
And that's why
we're both on the board. We're both on the board.
Right, and that's kind of why I'm glad we're doing it as quickly as possible because, technically tonight could influence that as well. There's some teams that are getting their first wins and losses. So, I really thought the Spurs would somehow be there. So I'm going to take the next best thing. Even though the Jazz did beat the Nuggets last night, I do think the Jazz should absolutely lose 60 games. I'm going to get 2 picks either way because I'm at the turn here and I'm happy with it. I'm going to take the Jazz losses and be, again, happy with my, hopefully this is my Michael Jordan 3rd overall in the 83 draft kind of pick. I'm going to take Jazz losses because I think they stink even though they beat the Nuggets. Fun fact, the Nuggets shot like 21% from 3 and the Jazz shot 45%. That's the only reason we're talking about this being an accidentally bad pick, So whatever, man. I am happy with the Jazz losses and I will move on from there. I also have the next pick. So, with the next pick, I thought I was getting the Spurs. I really did. That's what threw my whole draft strategy off. Oh, man. I am going to take... God, there are so many bad teams. That's the problem. There's so many teams I'm just like, that team sucks. Take their losses. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Okay. I'm going to take the Golden State Warriors wins. I think the Warriors are going to end up winning more games than I originally probably thought. And again, that could be clouded after, opening night. But I just think this Golden State Warriors team is unbelievable. Their bench is literally 6 or 7 deep. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to take the Golden State Warriors wins and the Jazz losses. Who is up next? Julian?
Yeah. I'm a little torn here. I have a few ways. There's a few picks that I'm stuck between, but I think that the easiest one for me to make right now, I'm going to take the Grizzlies wins.
Okay.
Super deep team. They're going to get Jaren Jackson back, and they're a very good team without him. Ja Morant could very well go into the MVP race this year, and I just think that team is too well coached to not win 50-plus games.
All right, the shrug from Caleb. So I'm curious where he goes with number 6 and 7 here.
I'm going to take the Pelicans wins.
I was thinking them.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Pelicans wins, and then I'm also going to take the Hornets losses.
The Hornets losses. Okay.
Yeah, I just absolutely stink.
Huh. All right. Hornets losses. All right.
I'm not a big believer in a LaMelo Ball kind of heliocentric offense. I think they're some pieces away from putting together a stretch of wins. I see them being a team that beats teams like the Spurs and no one else.
All right. I did not think the Hornets were going to go that quickly, but I do. I mean, Hornets Nation, please don't attack us, or don't attack me. Actually, let me be clear. I've always been very supportive. Oh boy.
They're a bad team.
I mean, they beat the crap out of the Spurs, but this is the Spurs we're talking about. I
guess,
that's right.
That's why the Spurs were my slam dunk number 1 pick, honestly.
Yeah.
In part, I mean,
they were up by 37 at one point.
I'm tempted to take the Spurs wins. So.
I dare you.
Oh boy.
It's your turn.
Dare you.
You're up, Julian. Yeah.
Boy, again,
right?
man.
Yep.
Second
overall pick, never getting a back-to-back pick in this. Fun.
Yeah, it is kind of tough, but I think I like the fact that I'm just going to be able to pick from the middle.
Yeah. Take the value where you see it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of value. I think I'm going to take Pacers losses.
Ah,
Um,
that's who I wanted to take last round. I should have done it. I'm an idiot.
I was I honestly I think that they were going to be my first round pick if the Spurs had gone off the board like they were supposed to. Um, but I'll take the value where I can get it in this third round here. I don't think the Pacers are a very good team. I do hope that Ben Mathurin plays well this year for him, but just their lineup, Miles Turner's out because what was it? He got hurt by a ball boy,
Yeah,
and
stepped on
now
the
he's
foot of
out
a
like
ball
three
boy.
weeks.
We can have.
Unbelievable,
We can
man.
have. Not too bad. We can have. All right, I'm gonna take a almost a best of both worlds or a lesser of two evils, whichever you want to take, because I do have back to back again. I'm gonna take Celtics wins and Bucks wins, and just hope that they both are 50-win teams. I mean, I think at that point it's 100 points right there. So I think I have to safely and good value too. I mean, we're 2, 4, 6. We're no at 9 picks in, and I'm able to get the two number one seed contenders in the East. Obviously, we haven't seen Milwaukee play yet. Recording this on, I believe, the 20th. Yep. So I'm going to take Boston wins and Milwaukee wins, and I'm just going to be happy with having some of the best players in the world there supporting that. So uh, I am good to go from here. I will take those two. I believe it is Julian again. I love this rotation. It's so good.
I'm gonna take my team to win. I'm gonna take Sixers wins.
There it
My
is.
next pick.
There it is.
What?
No,
That
there it
was my
is.
next pick.
No,
What did
I
you
love
say,
it.
Caleb?
That was my next pick. I was gonna take the Sixers win.
Nice. All
I
right.
I
Um,
was I was hoping to get either the Celtics or the Bucks. I was thinking about it last round, but Pacers losses was just too appealing to pass up.
I'm gonna kind of repeat what Trevor just did with two teams that I'm fairly confident on, but in the other conference with the Nuggets and Dallas. I'm gonna take both their.
I was looking at the Nuggets. I didn't
That was
think
the
they would
team.
fall to me,
Yeah.
but I was looking at the Nuggets.
That was tough because I wanted them to, but I also realized like at least in the East, I'm taking a bet on the fact that neither of those teams are gonna win less than 50 games in my opinion in the East.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
I think at that point I'm like the Nuggets could win 60. Don't get me wrong, I'm bullish on that, and that's why I picked them as the one seed. But I also have to be realistic that top of the West is probably going to be a lot tighter than I think I originally thought, even before the season started. So
Yeah, I mean, I've
uh,
picked four teams winning in the West. So.
the Dallas one's hit or miss though, because like honestly, I depending on where we fell towards the end of the draft, I mean, I wouldn't. I honestly was considering Dallas losses, but just because of the fact if they're floating in the play-in, they're going to have 35 losses. That's 35 points, you know.
I felt like Christian Wood was pretty good. I was pretty satisfied with a lot of the offense and defensive stuff that I saw from last night, and it gives
Yep.
me confidence. It's still Luca. Luca was still doing Luca things, and I think that that's the overarching storyline. And it's Jokic. You know what I mean? They're both losers, but they have two of the best players in the world, two of the best five.
Yep. All right. Who is up now?
I'm
Julian
back.
again. Hey, Jason, I'm back. All right. Who you taking in the middle here?
Dude, I'm torn.
There's
I'm
still some
really
really good
torn
stuff.
here.
There's still
I'm
some
really
really good
torn.
stuff.
I think so. I watched a lot of games last night, just jumping around. And I think Houston has a lot of growing pains, so I'm gonna go with
Mm,
Houston
I
losses.
like that. I like that pick. Oh man, that's good.
They like there's talent on the roster and you could see the potential, but I think I don't think they're too well coached by Steven Silas. And
Interesting.
B, Jalen Green is very turnover prone, in like his early stages of developing as a playmaker. And I think that he's gonna experience those growing pains through the season and like put up great numbers, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that he's going to win them a lot of games. I think that the games they win are going to be because of Jalen Green, but I don't think they're going to win a lot of games in general, even with Jalen Green.
All right. So I am back up again twice. So I I was gonna hum and haw, but then I realized like I keep forgetting I'm gonna have these two picks back to back every time. So I have to just This is slightly a homer pick, and my audience is going to love this because I've said this for years, and I hate this team. I hate the roster around it. I think they suck. I'm going to take the one that I absolutely think is going to happen. I don't care who won last night. Portland's losses. I think Portland stinks. They just happened to catch Sacramento on a bad night. I best say bad night. It was night one, right? Sacramento should have had the home court advantage. Everything. De'Aaron Fox literally tried to do everything. Sabonis had a bad night. God, they should have beat Portland. Portland is so bad. I hate it. I hate Portland so much. Sorry, Portland. I'm going to take Portland losses. And then at that turn, because I feel like I got the best value there, they don't have Chet. I got to take Oklahoma losses. I cannot believe they fell this far. So I'm going to just take the value and be happy with it. I wanted to take a couple of win teams, but boy, am I getting Oklahoma City in like the 6th round? Yeah, sure. I mean, hopefully my friend Grayson's gonna love that they fell that far. But whatever, man. With Chet, I wouldn't have even taken them in this draft. Probably they probably would have fell right in that middle spot. So I'm gonna comfortably take Portland losses and OKC losses.
I was hoping that OKC losses would come back around to me. I wasn't optimistic. But I was hoping that they would.
They weren't making it any further. Sorry. Oh man,
this is a tough one. There's a little. We're starting to get to the area where we gotta do some gambling soon,
and some like debating too, because you're like, there's still a lot of good stuff on the board, dude. I'm serious. Like I think there's so much good stuff.
I think Magic losses is still an easy pick at this stage.
Yep, there it is.
They didn't look terrible against the Pistons last night.
They did not.
They're in similar spots, and I'm really not confident in. They have these weird lineup configurations that I don't even think they know what works right now. Very much an experimental year for them, so I think they're going to lose a lot of games.
Okay, Magic losses. I like it. Caleb, back-to-back picks.
Heat wins. Knicks losses.
All right, he's been thinking. That was quick.
Knicks losses.
Hey, look, they could be 1-0 right now. I mean that New York game on. What was it, last night? I guess it would have been. Yeah, the ESPN early game was unbelievable.
I believe in the Jalen Thompson experiment.
So far through one game, it hasn't looked good.
I wasn't a believer before. Like, I mean, it just some of the sound. Like, it's just too easy to guard that team. Everybody goes left. Nobody takes smart shots. Like, I mean, RJ Barrett legitimately at times like looks scared to attack the rim. Like I mean, I hate to be that guy, but he looks overweight. So I'm sorry, I'm not a believer in the Knicks this year. Julius Randle looks great, though. I mean, that's awesome.
I
and
can't
believe he wins is simply because I think that, like, with how many teams I feel like are gonna be pro performers, especially like taking Hornets losses, I'm gonna take Heat wins.
Heat wins, I like. See, Trevor, I saw you highlighted my next pick.
Oh no, I didn't mean to. I undid it. I was like, oh crap.
I'm surprised that Pistons losses doesn't get picked over Knicks losses, but I'm going to take Pistons losses. Look, I like their backcourt. Don't get me wrong. I like their backcourt. Jalen Duren looked good last night. Let's also remember they were playing the Orlando Magic. Let's not get lost in that. They barely beat an Orlando Magic team without Cole Anthony, with Jalen Suggs fouling out with 5 minutes to go. So I don't think
them to win 30 games. They're still going to win at least 30.
I don't think they're winning 30. I think they're winning between 25 and 30. And even if they win 30, that's still 52 points.
That's 52 points exactly. If he's taking losses, that's a huge chunk. That was one of the best values left, I think. All right, Detroit losses. All right, well, I think the team I'm about to pick is going to be worse than Detroit. So I'm going to take what I think is the best loss value left. And the Washington Wizards stink. I mean, I don't care that they beat the Pacers last night. They played the Pacers. Like, the Pacers didn't want to win that game. Okay, the Pacers tried everything they could by intentionally hurting Miles. I'm kidding. That's a joke. Obviously, they did not intentionally hurt Miles Turner. But no, I don't care who they played last night. That Wizards team is horrid. Like it's my Portland team in the East. They're just, the roster stinks and they have one good player. So I'm going to assume that the East is going to beat the crap out of them, and that division's gotten better, but obviously Charlotte doesn't help that. I am going to take the Wizards losses with my first pick at the turn, and then I am going to also take the last win value that I feel good about, at least in my personal rankings. and I'm going to take the Atlanta Hawks wins. Talking about taking a swing. This is where you take a swing, and I think Atlanta just wholeheartedly last night was the best game in my opinion. I mean, both teams shot 30%, or one of the best games. I can't say that. There's so many good games on, but both teams shot under 30% from three, and the reason Atlanta won. And by the way, both teams shot like 23%, like unbelievably below 30. And both teams, yet something had to be the edge, and Murray had 5 steals. The Hawks had 12 steals as a team. They just looked like a completely transformed defensive team, and they have Okongwu coming back, and Clint Capella's looked like his good self again. So I just think that's some of the best value left. I'll take Atlanta Hawks wins.
I do want to say, just to counteract that a little bit, the Rockets turnovers some of them were pretty egregious.
They were. That was one of the games I had to rewatch this morning. So yes, I agree with that. But
I do agree though that DeJounte Murray really does still look like an all-star. That's not changing. That backcourt's legit. I'm gonna take what I think is my safest pick left. I'm gonna take the deepest team in the league, the LA Clippers wins.
Nice.
They're the only team that I'm really sure about at this point. Everyone else, yeah, I think they should be good, but I have some question marks. So I think, yeah, I think it's going to be tougher if Kawhi or PG get hurt, which is very, very likely, and that scares the crap out of me. But outside of that, I'm really confident in just, especially with John Wall. I love John Wall, my favorite NBA player. So,
all right. So if I'm doing the math right, Caleb obviously had the number 1 overall pick, so he'll have the last pick. He's got 3 more, so I believe it's only 2 rounds left if I'm doing the math right. Either way, we'll keep an eye on that. But Caleb has, in totality, 3 more picks, and I believe 2 of them are right here. So getting close to the end on what we think is going to be our 9th, 10th picks. So Caleb, you are up. I see you writing it down, so for the listeners, I'll let you go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I got Bulls wins and T-Wolves wins. I mean, the Bulls, I was hesitant to take them earlier, but I still think it's really good value with how good DeMar DeRozan is, like just how the levels that he's taken his game to, especially lately in terms of being able to carry a team. I'm still super confident in the rest of their team. I think they have a really underrated bench in terms of like the mix of guys they have and the way that they all play off each other. I think it's a really well-built team. And when they get Lonzo Ball back, I don't know. I just think I see them being an easy 50-win team or around that range. So
I like it because if we had done this on Monday, I would have not liked the pick. But I definitely think what we saw from Chicago was a team that doesn't need to rush Lonzo. Like it just like I don't even care if you don't like the rotation. Like I agree with you. I like the rotation, and
he's where they start and end, and I love that. And I think if you look at that duo of him and Levine, and it's like that's such a dynamic scoring backcourt that they're gonna win games. And then
they didn't even have Levine last night. That's the craziest thing. They'll have it moving forward. They managed it right, the left knee management, whatever.
Yeah, and then I mean. The T-Wolves pick, I mean, we saw this is not an overreaction to the Gobert debut with them last night. It's more of like a reaffirmation on my take on Anthony Edwards. I think he's going to, take another step. And that team has arguably one of the best starting fives in the league with kind of the talent that they've put together. So I think that's another 48 to 50 win team. I think, this year, obviously both conferences are pretty stacked near the top and they just have a lot of really, really bad teams near the bottom. But I'm confident both these teams passing like 45 game win threshold.
All right, Julian. This is pick number. Let's go. While you're thinking about it, I'm going to count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have one more pick after this one.
After this?
Yep.
Jesus. I want to say between 2, and I don't think I'm going to get one of them on the bounce back.
Probably not. I know exactly who you're probably thinking. It's okay, though. Be confident. Take the pick.
I'm going to take Cleveland Cavaliers wins.
That's smart. That's not who I was talking about, but that's smart. I like the Cleveland Cavaliers wins.
I think I just think that they have more of a proven commodity. They were the 4 seed last year before Jared Allen got hurt. And if Darius Garland can stay healthy, I mean, Darius Garland plays that whole game. I think they beat the Raptors last night.
Bingo.
Um,
100% I agree.
so I mean, Mobley looked really good. I was really impressed with Evan Mobley.
Yep.
So if he's taking steps forward offensively, that team is going to probably be a top 5 seed in the East. And I'm a little more confident with what I saw from them and what I expect from them than I am in the other two teams that I was mulling in between.
All right. I I'm gonna pull out a strategy. I'm gonna preface something because I have friends that like to gamble, and they're gonna appreciate this when they listen to it. Um, I have a friend that went to the University of Tennessee. I'm gonna leave all the names out for his sake. And he put $500 on Tennessee to against Tennessee in one of their recent wins, not against Alabama, but whatever a couple before that. He was like, he put a 500 on the other team where it was like, if they win, I'm happy. If they lose, I win $500 or whatever the odds were on the 500. So I'm going to take the similar Homer approach with that preface, and I'm going to take Lakers losses because after what I saw on Tuesday night, I think they should have been picked 5 rounds before this. And that's not a joke. That's not an exaggeration. I don't like to homer anything, and people know that by now. The Lakers stink, and I hope that that's just a testament of if they win, I'm happy. I'm a thrilled fan, and that tries to be as unbiased as possible in the media. However, from what I saw, I mean, I'm getting great value. I'm getting almost 50 losses potentially, 40 losses, 30 losses. I mean, I'm getting a swing of 20 points that honestly at this point could happen either way. I don't think they panic on any kind of trade. I'm getting Lakers losses, and I'm totally fine with it. Um, with my other pick, which I believe, is this my last pick? Did I do the math right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I might have missed one on Portland. Who did I take after Portland losses? I missed one. Just double check me, somebody.
Thunder. You took Thunder.
Thunder losses. That's it. I knew that. I was look. I'm proud of myself that I only missed one throughout this whole thing. Let's see. Thunder losses to make sure I have that in there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So then this is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is my last pick. So, if I did the math right, of course, with my final pick, man, there's so many things I want to take, but I just this is where I'm afraid for the audio audience that I'm going to sit here and hum and haw for way too long. All right, I'll just talk out loud for a second. I'm between Kings wins and Brooklyn Nets wins or losses. I think the Nets are way too risky. I'll just be straight up. I just don't know. They got the brakes beat off of them by Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. However, this is still a team with Kevin Durant. And what now?
And Trey Murphy.
And
Trey Murphy was really good.
He was. Well, in that see, the Brooklyn Nets don't have a guy that can stop Trey Murphy. Well, they do. Ben Simmons, obviously, but like this is still a team. Yeah, this is still a team with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. I'm gonna take the homer pick again. Don't really care at that point. I think I've got plenty of value throughout the board. I think the Kings are gonna be really good. I think they're gonna be in the play-in playoff race there. So I'm gonna take the Kings wins. I don't really want to mess around with the Nets. I think it's too stupid and too risky. Now if one of you two takes them, I'm totally gonna be happy and fine with it. But Kings wins, and I'm totally fine with it. So I don't feel great, to be clear. There was a couple of other things that I debated, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not touching the Nets.
Yeah, see, I didn't think one of us was. I was really worried that one of us wasn't going to do it, and here we are.
I was mulling them over. I'm not touching the Nets. I really have. I know, like, that's also part of the reason I wanted to pick the Pels. Is I think the Pels are legit, and I think that's part of it. But the Nets are. I'm not touching the Nets.
You didn't take the Pels. I took the Pels.
Yeah, I know. I said I wanted.
He wanted them. Yeah. We all wanted the Pels, I think, after what we saw, and I was probably going to take them anyway, even what I didn't see. I thought if they had lost by 20 to Brooklyn, I think I still would have taken them. with
Yeah.
wins. They're
Yeah,
a good team.
That was a great value pick.
Last pick. What can you get with Mr. Irrelevant here?
I think
Value,
that I'm
value, value.
confident enough in my picks that I can afford to take a gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I went with Kings wins, because
And I
that's
think
definitely a gamble.
I think it'll be. I think just you know what? Nah, to hell with it. I'm taking Lakers wins.
Oh, okay. That's also a risk. That's also a risk. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Just let me say it. Okay.
It may be, and you know what? I think that I have enough points everywhere else on the board that I can afford to make one pick that might be stupid. I
If
think
they're
that
good though, that's a 40. That's a 40+ point advantage. That's a good pick.
it
I
could
just
be
think the
it could
less
be
is
a
my.
big swing pick,
It could. Yeah.
and I think that I can't bet against LeBron James, man. I just can't. I know he's old. I know Russ
Totally fair.
stinks. I know they have zero floor spacing whatsoever. I see them making a trade. I really do. I think that's kind of what this hinges on. If they don't make a trade, they're probably a 35 win team tops.
All right, Caleb. Last pick of the Skins draft.
Mr. Irrelevant.
I feel like this is probably a dumb pick, but I think that there's a world where this team, if they do well, could win me this whole thing. I want to go. I wanted to make a pick that was against somebody else's. I went into this draft and immediately once we changed the premise to being where we could pick a wins and losses, they both could get picked. I wanted to pick one against you or Julian. So I'm gonna take the Detroit Pistons wins. Um,
I
and
love it. I love it.
I genuinely believe that with Sadiq Bey and the composition of this roster going out and getting Bogdanovich in the offseason, I think Killian Hayes is not as bad of a player as Twitter makes him out to be. I think Jalen Duren is a great pick. Isaiah Stewart. I mean, you got Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham in the backcourt running the show. I don't see how this. I can see a world where this team wins 45 games and everybody's extremely shocked.
That in the East might be the 9 seed too, which is the funniest part about it.
That's yeah.
I just looked around and said there's so many of us are picking losses for some of these Eastern Conference teams. Somebody's got to win.
True.
And I think the Pistons with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey and Sadiq Bey. I mean, I think Sadiq Bey is the biggest thing that I want to iterate. I think he's that piece that makes them a capable team.
I think they're probably going to cap out at 40 wins.
That's still good value, though. I agree with him on that part of it. If it's 40, that's 40 more wins than. I mean, that's whatever. Who did I think I took them. No, you took Pistons losses, Julian. So that would be an 8-point difference between the two of you.
Yeah,
if
and I mean,
there's
always there's a likely universe where Kevin Durant or Kyrie don't play half the games for Brooklyn.
Yeah, which is why none of us touched them. None of us touched Brooklyn. That was what I was going to say.
I didn't take Brooklyn and the Raptors. I just feel like it would be around the same range and maybe don't have the high end ceiling because of the roster depth as Pistons do.
All right. Well, Brooklyn, I think we all agree, was the last pick that was probably questionable that's on the board. So I'll run through everybody's team really quick. Caleb has Suns wins, Pelicans wins, Hornets wins.
Hornets losses,
excuse me. Good catch. Dallas wins, Nuggets wins, Heat wins, Knicks losses. Caleb as Bulls wins, T-Wolves wins, and ended it off with Pistons wins. I was reading it from the draft order that we did. That was very confusing and hard for my brain. Julian ended up with Spurs losses, which I think should have been the number one overall pick, quite frankly, but Julian ended up with Spurs losses, Grizz wins. I think that's good value. Pacers losses, 76ers wins. No shock there. Rockets losses, Magic losses, Detroit losses. A little bit of a run of losses here. Clippers wins, Cavs wins, and Lakers wins. So, lastly, your host here, of course, has ended up with Jazz losses, Golden State wins, Boston wins, Milwaukee wins. Wow, I didn't realize how many win teams I picked immediately. Oh, here they are. Portland losses, Thunder losses, Wizards losses. There we go, just a string of them in a row. Hawks wins. And I rounded it out with Lakers losses and Kings wins. So all in all, I'll try my best every 15 games to add it up. It's not going to be easy whatsoever. I'll have to format this a lot better and put our teams in order. I'll do that at some point. It'll be fine. We'll do like maybe a quarter of the season update, or next time you come on, we'll do an update or whatever. But I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to transition now into doing we're going to do it rapid fire style because of the sake of getting this episode out quickly. But I do just want to hear some award picks. I've already given mine. If you didn't listen, you can go back to last week's. I'm not going to do them now. I gave about 15 minutes on why and why not. A couple of different reasons. But we're going to do MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, MIP, Most Improved Player, of course, and Coach of the Year in that order. So without further ado, I'm going to say rapid fire as in 15 to 20 seconds, just because I think if you're convinced enough, then you should be able to convincingly say it in 15 to 20 seconds or 30, whatever. Julian, I'll start with you. MVP of the NBA this year is going to be who and why?
Luka Doncic. If the Mavs win anywhere near 50 games, that roster is terrible around him, so it's going to be because of him.
Oh, that was simple. That was good. I like how you were like, hey, if they stink, well, whatever. But if they're 50 win, that's Luka. Love it. All right, Caleb, MVP.
I've Luka, pretty much for the same reasons. I mean, when a player can put up a triple double on any given night, he has a good chance of winning an MVP.
And when his team could win 55, 60 games, but that's besides the point. That helps him. All right, Rookie of the Year. We'll go with Caleb this time.
I got Paolo Banchero. He was my guy, the number 1 overall pick that, and the number 1 on my board beforehand. I think he's going to have the biggest offensive role so far as a rookie. I mean, with what we saw from him last night and in a combination with all of his film and tape as a basketball player, there's no doubt that he's going to, the Magic are going to have the most confidence in him than any other rookie. I thought about Ben Mathurin for a second because I am super high on Ben Mathurin, but I think Paolo's got it for sure with the narrative as well.
All right. Julian?
It's funny that Caleb mentions Ben Mathurin. Before last night, I would have said Ben Mathurin was my sleeper pick. After last night, I think it's got to be Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, that's simple. I mean, I think you sleeper pick, but you were still going to pick Paolo before Monday, right?
Ivy needs some love here too, but
I was thinking about Jaden Ivey as well.
But you would have taken Paolo regardless on Monday, right? You would have taken Paolo regardless, right, Julian? Probably. Yeah, I think that's where the NBA's went. I think Keegan Murray's not going to get enough love from anybody right now, but I do think he's going to be very good.
Hopefully he's going to get enough minutes this next year to put the statistical impact, but his impact will be felt by that team for sure.
All right. Defensive Player of the Year, also known as the Rudy Gobert Award. Julian, what do you have?
Herb Jones.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Let me hear it. I don't know that he's going to necessarily get it, but I'm very high on the Pelicans this year. You'll see later in my awards. And I think that he is going to deserve it. He is one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. And I think he's going to put up the stats to prove it.
All right. Caleb?
I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think he's going to come back around and start snagging this award from Rudy Gobert again. Undeniably the best player in the world, and the best defensive player for that matter. The Bucks defense literally filters everything to him. That's how it's designed with their perimeter defenders. So he's going to continue to get blocks and steals, etc. And he's a rebound monster. So he's going to put up the numbers, and they're going to be winning games and have probably a top 5 to top 10 defense.
All right. The next best man award or Sixth Man of the Year award. Who do you have, Caleb?
Well, depending on games started, I didn't because one of them, it could be a teetering starter. So I made 2 picks. I got Jordan Poole and Anthony Simons. Both are backup, slated as backup guards behind obviously Curry and Lillard. I think that in terms of backup scoring potential this year, this is normally given to a guy who produces a lot of points off the bench. Just kind of goes with it. I think Jordan Poole is a really easy pick if he doesn't start more than 41 games or whatever the cutoff is. I believe that is. And then Anthony Simons, I know for sure won't start that many games as long as Dame's healthy. And I think both of those guys are solid picks.
Every guest I've ever had on, I'm the guy that does this. I'm going to make you make the pick.
Anthony Simons.
That's what I figured. Yeah, I think that's safer. All right, Julian?
Yeah, I'm between 2 as well. If John Wall does not start 41 games, I'm going to take John Wall. But if I'm not, because I don't know who the starter is at this point.
Reggie Jackson right now.
Okay, then I'm going to take John Wall.
Okay. Yeah, as of
Favorite
right now,
player.
it's starting out the season with Reggie Jackson is what they've said.
He-
So, all right. John Wall, I like John Wall, obviously a Raleigh guy. Looking forward to seeing his resurgence back in the NBA. All right, last two quickly. Julian, the most improved player is?
I'm torn on this one, but I think I'm gonna take Davion Mitchell. I think the Kings are gonna have a year where they improve, and I think a lot of it's gonna be based on the two-way play of Davion Mitchell.
I like it. That one feels out of left field, but you know what? If the Kings are good, somebody's got to win something, right? Right? No. All right. Caleb, most improved player.
I'm taking Kevin Porter Jr. of the Rockets.
Ooh,
I think
I like that.
he's 22 years old, kind of just hitting his stride. At least he's finally found a team. Obviously, got drafted by the Cavs and kind of had a bunch of stuff going around about his name and kind of his work ethic. And now he's kind of found a home with Houston. And I see him and Jalen Green being dynamic backcourt mates. And I think if Jalen Green doesn't win it, Kevin Porter Jr. will win it because both of them are going to score a lot of points this year.
Yeah, he looked
I was
really
thinking
good
about Jalen Green.
Even though the Atlanta game, like obviously Atlanta had 12 steals and they had obviously some of those turnovers were
Turnovers are going to be a problem for both of them, but I mean,
yeah, it's not the award
they're young
decider.
guards. They're 22 and 20 years old, so
not worth the time of the debate right now. But obviously, John Morant winning it last year really clouds this decision because obviously the last 2 years, you've seen people take
that's
those
why
kind of guys.
Jalen Green because I think that'd be a very similar pick. But I think if you're actually going off most improved player, I think Kevin Porter Jr. has displayed tremendous strides in terms of his confidence as a shooter and a creator on offense.
All right, Julian, most improved player. Did you give yours yet?
Yeah, I said Davion Mitchell. I was thinking about Jalen Green too, though. I had him on first, but I thought he was too much of a star already. I don't know.
All right, round us out, Julian, and then Caleb after that. Coach of the year.
So the easy pick for most people is going to be Taylor Jenkins, but I think it's Willie Green.
Nice. Willie Green's good. I like both of those. I think
the Pelicans are going to be a close to 60-win team this year, and
all right.
I think Willie Green's going to earn it. He took them from 1-14 to making the playoffs last year, and the roster significantly improved. So I'm very high on Willie Green and the Pelicans this year.
Okay, Caleb.
Well, it's funny because before we got on the call, or like when you told us that we needed to do the research for it, I wrote down Taylor Jenkins because I just genuinely believe he's the best strategical coach in the NBA right now. And then I changed it because I'm like, you know what? They had a really good year last year. I have a hard time seeing them top that. And he didn't win it last year. So I'm going to take Willie Green because I think that was a really good pick. But now I'm like scrambling to find a different option.
You could take Willie Green. So no one's going to say, I'm not going to care. Take Willie Green. He's a good coach.
I'm going to take Billy Donovan. I think I'm going to take Billy Donovan for the Bulls. I think if you're talking about really like a good coach, he's bounced around a lot and he's in Chicago and I talked about it on our Contenders and Pretenders pod. I feel like I've said that multiple times during this recording, but they have a really weird roster composition, and I just love the way that he manages all their minutes and the rotations that they throw out there. And he's gotten them a lot of guys that aren't known for defense to play really good defense. So, and I think they're going to win 50-something games this year. I have to
sleeper pick.
Wins. Billy Donovan, sleeper pick.
Sleeper pick.
Terry, rookie of the year, sleeper pick.
Yeah, I'm asleep after hearing the Donovan pick. So, last one that I didn't tell you all about because I wanted to put you on the spot because I think this award is hilarious. Who wins the scoring title? Off the top of your head, no reason why. Just who wins the scoring title? Julian?
Kevin Durant, because no one else on that team can score if Kevin Durant's healthy.
Got to pay 55% of the games, but that's not bad. I think he can do that. Caleb?
Well, Embiid, I think he's the only player in the league that truly cares about it more than anyone else.
Nice. Yeah. All right, well, fellas, it's been a lot of fun.
An unnecessary shot.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to help you out and keep moving. But all right, it's a lot of fun. NBA Skins Award draft, whatever you want to call it. That will be a show we do now every year. I absolutely enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to see these tabbed up throughout the year, as well as at All-Star break. I'm going to have this graphic that's got thousands of points on it. We're just going to figure it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys again for coming on. All of their links and socials and stuff will be linked below on all of the podcast platforms, YouTube, etc. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see all of the links here. for the 2 Pointers podcast. Appreciate all the support. See you on Monday for week 1 overreactions.